Good morning, sunshines. TGIF. How are you guys doing? Welcome to my my world again, right here on my couch, where I've pretty much been for quite a few days straight. It feels like 800 days, but maybe not 800 days. So how are you guys doing? You're joining me for a miracle morning for our Good Morning Sunshine, just to set up our lives and our days for success and really plug into the best attitude possible. Good morning, Lacey. Good morning, Tim. I'm sure today is like, it's Friday, right? So for a lot of you, morning Carly, you're like, yes, like you really do feel incredible today because you know that maybe the kids don't have school, you just get to go have fun, you don't have to work, or you're almost to the weekend, and it's kind of the easier spot for me to catch people with that natural good attitude, which is awesome. What we're doing, Victoria, Kathy, good morning everybody that's jumping on. What we're doing here is learning how to have this same sort of excitement and attitude every day, not just on the Fridays or the weekends, right? Morning, Nikki, how are you guys? Shout out to some of you guys. You guys are killing your challenges, so just like high five to all of you guys. Look, I can move my arm now. It's pretty special. So drop your good morning sunshine like Michelle just did, or your hashtag GMS, either way, so I know that you're participating. Remember, sharing and participation is what really helps get us to open up to other people and grow. And then you share one of your gratitudes for the day. So just anything that you feel in your heart that you're thankful for. I have to say, I have so much gratitude in my heart today for my tribe, for my support system, for the people that are just there for me, all my millions of nurses. I'm like, it's just an arm surgery, but when the pain blocker wears off, guys, you feel like poop, with a capital S, poop. And I've just had a lot of people that have came and visited me, and I don't know, it's just cool. So I have so much gratitude for every one of you guys and all the text messages and all the love. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Rodney. How are you guys doing? Share with me one of your gratitudes. Lacey's a dance mom. I want to go be a dance mom. I want to watch kids dance. Morning, Mary. How are you? Good morning, sunshine. So share with me one of your gratitudes. When we work through our savers each week, remember that we put a standard on that now. Silence is for Mondays, affirmations Tuesdays, visualization Wednesday, exercises Thursday. Today is reading. So it's just reminding you that this is a part of us actively learning and growing, is pursuing some different knowledge from other experiences people have. And not to say that their experience is perfect or right, you guys, but it just expands your mind to allow you to think about things a little bit differently. It's not like you have to read a book and be like, yep, so that I'm going to do my life just like that. It's more so I'm going to read a book and take and choose the pieces that seem like they might make me feel a little bit more accomplished and a little bit more successful. So share with me the book that you're reading. Morning, Jennifer. And that's a great way for us to just distribute our different ideas, and maybe one of your takeaways, what you're, grateful for movement. I love it. One of your takeaways that you've got right now, so that we can share and all learn together. Morning, Casey. How's it going? Morning, Michelle. Did I already say that? I don't know. Still whacked out, guys. You're welcome. So my reading right now, you guys, I told you guys it's called Grit by Angela Duckworth. And it's a good book. Like I read some that are super soft. I read some that are stories. I read some that are like reading a textbook. This one, and I do the audio version at like 1.5 or 2 because it's so slow otherwise. You guys can tell by how fast I talk. But in this one, it's really discussing the difference between having grit and having a natural ability. And I thought that I would just talk about that some today, since it applies to our reading, and also can give you kind of a synopsis of what the book's about in case you want to grab it yourself and see if it's something that would help you in your life right now. These medications make my mouth so dry all the time. You guys are welcome. We're just nonstop drinking. It's so great. So the difference between grit and natural ability, all right? So I see a lot of people. I work with a lot of people. I have conversations, helping people hopefully find some more success or dreams or movement in their life. Movement, right, Don? Thankful for movement. And a lot of times what I see happen is there's this, I don't want this to sound bad, but like an attitude or a chip. Well, that's great for them, but that's never going to happen for me. And think about somewhere in your life where you've thought about this. And it could be anything. Like, that's great for them in their happy hold hands relationship all the time. That's never going to happen for me. Or that's great for them that they were able to move up the food chain at their office and now they're the VP of something, but that's never going to work for me. Or that's great for her. Like, that's just super easy for her to stay in shape. Like, that's just, it's natural. Like, it's never going to happen for me. right? And you could probably pick any area in your life where, morning Jen, when are you coming to visit me? Isn't that soon? I was thinking about you yesterday. So what piece of your life are you comparing to other people and making the decision that that's not for you, it's for them, right? And that comes down to a lot of us, when we watch somebody else succeed, when we watch somebody else lose the 50 pounds, when we watch somebody else move up the chain at work, when we watch somebody else launch a company that's successful, so often, when we watch an athlete, a professional athlete, right? So often we see the end game. We see the success. We see the ta-da, them on the podium with the Olympic medal around their neck or whatever that is. And what we don't see is the grit that went into it. So the book that I'm reading is Grit, right? Is the work ethic and the hours and hours and hours of practice that it took them to get to whatever that point is in their life, losing the 50 pounds, getting the new job, winning the Olympics, whatever it is, right? There's all this work that goes behind it. And I think a lot of us want to justify why we're not doing it by putting others down a little bit, or just saying, well, that's great for you, but you have natural ability, right? You've just got it. So like it's never going to happen for me because of that. And then when we do that, we excuse ourselves for our lack of greatness, and we decide, no problem, because I don't have what he has or she has, so I can't lose the 50 pounds because I actually just love food, like I was talking about yesterday, right? And it stagnates us. When we're trying to find our passion, when we're trying to figure out what we want to go after, all of a sudden we're like, I can't go after that because he, she, or them, they're so much better than me in this arena. Why even bother? You guys, you kind of following that? Like, do you have any place in your life where you feel like this happens, where you're comparing yourself and you're like, it's just not naturally mine? So in Grit, when they talk about the difference between hard work, so Grit is just like this intense, and I could talk about this quite a few days because there's so many lessons in it, but this intense like motivation to work hard despite how hard the work is. Right? It's seeing the other side of the river, of the pond, of wherever you're going, of the surgery, like whatever it is. It's seeing the other side, but in it, when you're in it, like we talked about yesterday, no pain, no gain, that's where the grit's at, right? And they talk about grit and flow, which is really cool too, because they're both work, but it's a different level. So they're doing all these studies in the book looking at different, like let's just say like a musician, and what the difference between a musician is that has grit versus not grit, and what that even means. And it's the grueling numbers of practice, like the hours and hours and hours that they're practicing their craft, whatever their craft is, and that's where the grit plays in. So what people see instead is they look over and they're like, well, she's always been so good. She's got the right finger structure. She's got whatever, like we're playing the piano. I don't know. You make these excuses of why they're so great and why you can't be great. So then you don't even try. You don't even like give it a shot. And that means you go out, like we've been talking about for the past 4 days, you pick your passion, you find your passion. Morning, Natalie, how are you? And then once you find your passion, you give up on it 2 days later because you're not as good as the neighbors, the Joneses or whatever, right? You give up on yourself because you don't think you have the natural ability that they do. But here's the deal. Most people don't have the natural ability and the grit. Like that's not really the way. I mean, every once in a while, like that is the magic combination. She had these like different math equations that really made a lot of sense to me in there. But then maybe that's your Olympic athlete, like you're just a very like special like top percent of something. But most people have grit more so than the natural ability. Does that make sense? It's not like we wake up with a knack for learning a language every year, or we wake up and just, the prospect of climbing Mount Everest is simple for us. That's not the way it works. We have to actually have the grit to work through it. So when you're looking at somebody else and you're thinking, oh, well, they've just got it, I just want to encourage you to maybe ask them about, what did it take you to get here? What did you have to go through to be the top 1% in your company? What did you have to go through to lose the 100 pounds? What did you have to go through to become the vice president? What grit did you have to endure? And realize that you saying that they didn't have to work hard for it is a lie. It's a lie you made up to yourself so you can feel better about yourself for not trying, right? And I see this a lot where some people just won't try. They won't even put in the effort because, God, you guys are just jumping on here. Good morning, all my sunshines. Morning, Mom. How are you? But I'm just so dry mouth. Time out. Auntie Evie, my whole family's here. This is great, you guys. Let's meet like this all the time. So taking that excuse away where you're allowing for yourself not to be your best version of yourself because you're scared you can't compete with others is a challenge. It's not like that's going to happen overnight for you. But if you start thinking about situations, pick one area in your life where you're thinking, well, they're just better at it than me naturally. And rearrange your mind to think about how much work they put in, and then imagining yourself putting in the same amount of grit. If you want to be as good as them, you have to have the same amount of grit. A perfect example for me is I look back at my gymnastics career, right? So I started when I was itty bitty, and I started at a rec center, which that's kind of like the like entry level gymnastics, until they couldn't coach me and a couple girls because we had gotten better, so we needed to go to a club gym. And even when I was over there, you guys, at the club gym, I never was a natural at gymnastics, like not at all. Like I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I just really got that athletic capability. That's not me. You could ask my coaches, that's not me. My difference in the gym was that I had a serious amount of tenacity and grit. It didn't matter how bad my body hurt. It didn't matter. Like I wouldn't let myself get a mental block in terms of being scared or fearful of something. I just had the desire so deep that it didn't matter. I didn't have the natural ability. Like that's just simply what it was. And most of the girls in that gym were the same way. At least the ones that made it. There were probably 2 or 3 that had this natural ability, but maybe didn't have the same level of grit and didn't keep going. So grit wins in the end. Grit wins over natural ability, you guys. Because if you have the ability to do something and you're not doing it because you don't have the grit, you're stuck in the same spot. So if you ask me, would I rather have the natural ability to make something work or the grit, the tenacity of it? I'm going to pick the latter. I'm going to pick tenacity. I'm going to pick grit because that's where success comes from. So as we've been exploring over the last few days, I love that you guys are all chatting about your books and stuff. You guys are amazing. Over the last few days, we've talked about taking action. We've talked about finding your passion. We've talked about seeing the passion that's already in your life, right? So a few different things. But as you start to explore, like, was it yesterday we were talking about the different ways to find your passion? A couple days ago, I can't remember, Jack, right now. But if you look back at those, once you start to do it, you need to have the realization that it's going to be hard practice. Oh yeah, yesterday was no pain, no gain, right? It's gonna be a challenge. I'm so funny. It's gonna be a challenge, and it's gonna be the grit that pays off in the end. And stop making excuses of why you can't because other people can, and you're making up some story about how they're just so gifted and so talented and so above where you're at. That's not true. You're gifted, you're talented. You have all of that within you as long as you pull out the work ethic to go along with it. Right? So, good morning, sunshines. Happy Friday. I have no idea how much time passed because I'm just sitting on my couch. So, I'm assuming that's at least 10 minutes. And I appreciate every one of you. Again, if it's a rewatch, right, rewatch of this. If you didn't see the full thing, you can go back to the beginning. And if you want to share, you can share. Some of you guys did that yesterday. It was awesome. But I think I'm a little bit less loopy today, kind of. Or I'm just getting better at faking it. Could be. I don't know. I love all your hearts. I love all your faces. Thank you for your text messages. Thank you for your voice messages. Thank you for your Facebook messages. I'm not typing or writing back as quick because writing anything with the left is not my favorite. But I'm going to grit it out, you guys. I'm going to grit it out, and I'm going to write all sorts of stuff. Love you guys tons. I think that is all for the day. Debbie, have fun in Estes. Auntie, thank you for joining. Mom, thanks for joining. And all my other beautiful friends that just popped on there that I didn't get to see your faces. So you guys have a great day, and I shall be seeing you maybe tomorrow morning. We weren't sure about the weekends, but probably, right? I'm up at 5 anyways. Might as well hang out with you guys. Yeah? Okay, talk to you later. Bye.